It's been a dramatic day in politics in Australia as the Prime Minister has survived a leadership contest. Malcolm Turnbull won the cabinet vote 48 to 35. The challenger, Home Affairs Minister Peter Dutton, has resigned from the portfolio. Matthew, this sets the scene for a showdown internally. Perhaps there could be another leadership challenge. Now you have a backbencher with not much else to do except trying to count the numbers, but also a showdown with the opposition, because in Dutton's speech today, it seemed to suggest that he thought the opposition leader, Bill Shorten, had a strong chance of winning the next election.
Well, this all really gathered momentum in the last couple of days because we've seen Malcolm Turnbull roll back on two key policies, and then we had an opinion poll out that showed that the government was trailing the opposition and Bill Shorten by about 10 percentage points. So things moved very quickly, and there was this party room meeting this morning in Canberra where Malcolm Turnbull declared both of the leadership positions for leader and deputy vacant. He then put his hand up, but so did Peter Dutton, and you're right saying that Turnbull got 48 of those votes compared to 35 for Dutton. It wasn't necessarily an emphatic win for Malcolm Turnbull, so a lot of people saying out there that this just purely sets the scene for another showdown once Dutton, who's now sitting on the backbench, starts to count the numbers in a little bit more detail. There were some claims that he did have enough numbers today to be able to roll the Prime Minister. Clearly that wasn't the case, but he's now going to be working the phones to try and shore up his support, really representing that more right of centre part of the party that want stricter immigration. They want coal to be used as part of the energy plan. But take a listen to some of what the key players have had to say today. Malcolm Turnbull, of course, experiencing a near-death experience, and Peter Dutton both speaking earlier.
Unity is absolutely critical. We cannot allow, as I said in the party room today, internal issues to undermine our work, to create a risk, a real risk, that Bill Shorten will be the Prime Minister.
I believe that I was the best person to lead the Liberal Party to success at the next election. Now, I respect the view of the party room, accept that outcome, of course, and I will do whatever I can now to make sure that we are in a position to win the next election and to make sure that Bill Shorten never becomes Prime Minister.
It's really interesting. We are just approaching the 3-year anniversary of Malcolm Turnbull becoming Prime Minister. And Karen, it's certainly been a long 11 years. If there is a change of leadership anytime soon, if we see another challenge from Dutton, it will be the 7th Prime Minister that Australia has seen in 11 years, with no Australian Prime Minister serving a full term since John Howard, and that was back from 2004 to 2007. Back to you.
The question is whether the Conservatives now start to look like the Labor Party. It's not just one challenger that comes out of the woodwork, it's a couple. And I noticed Julie Bishop, the deputy who was standing next to Malcolm Turnbull, was quite circumspect in her response, saying there is confidence in the leadership team, of course the team of which she is part of. Does that suggest her ambitions might also come to the fore at some point?
Well, you know what? She's had a lot of chances to put her hands up. Of course, there have been a number of challenges because we had Turnbull challenging Abbott about 3 years ago. Before that, when they were in opposition, we did see a significant number of changes to leader as well. And Julie Bishop has remained there as the deputy throughout much of this time where the Liberal Party has been in opposition. So she's had her chance. I'm not necessarily sure whether or not she would want to put her hand up. She's Foreign Minister, gets to represent Australia right around the world, so probably got one of the better jobs when it comes to serving in the Turnbull government.
Hey everybody, it's Hadley Gamble from our new CNBC Middle East Bureau in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for stopping by. Now to watch more, you can try one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe.